Morning. Right. Good morning, morning, everyone. There we go. Good morning. I can't hear me. That's quite worrying. Maybe not for you, but it is for me. So, good morning. Why can't I hear me? Is my volume down? Let's do that. So, good morning. Here I am. Someone shout if you can't hear me. I'm sure you can, but let me just check if I can hear me, because I need to be able to hear me. But at the moment, I'm just talking to myself, which is rather random. So, happy Halloween, happy Samhain. Let's just, oh, why does my phone do this to me? Right, am I here? Can I hear me? Am I live? Right, am I here? Can I hear me? Yes, I'm definitely here. That's good. Am I live? Right, am I definitely alive, definitely with it. Good morning. Who have we got with us today? Oh, good morning, Roberta. How are you? I haven't spoken to you for ages. Hope you're well, my lovely. And Emma, good morning, Emma. Good morning. Blessed Samhain to you all. Here, I've got my glasses on today, but I still get the glasses reflection from things. Unless I do that. I don't really want to do that for the whole way through. So I might have to take them off, but then I don't know if I can read, which is a bit of a kerfuffle, because I can read, but anyway, so blessed Samhain to you. Right, I'm going to make a little start and I'm going to chatter to you today, surprise, surprise, about Samhain. That's really surprising, isn't it? So what are you doing for Samhain? Let me know in the comments if you're doing anything wild and exciting. I know the Kent Goddess group, a lot of them are going down to, where are they going? They're going on like a bushcraft course thing today, which is really exciting. I'm really, really quite envious I couldn't go to that, but it's just not happening for me today. So that sounds like that's going to be amazing fun. So I'm just going to start off chatting to you a little bit about Samhain and its origins and that kind of thing. So let me just get my piece of paper because I have notes. Oh, you're well. That's really good, Roberta. I'm glad you're well, my darling. I've seen you for such a long time. It's probably been a couple of years, mind you. It's been a couple of years for lots of people, hasn't it? So why are we talking about Samhain? Why are we talking about Halloween? If I stay here, I don't get the reflection in my glasses. Right. We'll have to put up with reflection in my glasses. So the origins of Samhain, I'm just going to talk a little bit about these. And it was originally, they think it's originally a Celtic thing, possibly in Ireland, where on the 31st of October, this is a new calendar, so it would have been originally in the older calendar, I guess, the family's ancestors were honoured and invited into the home whilst the harmful spirits were warded off. So people wore costumes and masks. So this is obviously the beginning of trick or treat. And I'm guessing obviously this from our shores went to America. Wore costumes to disguise themselves from harmful spirits to make sure that they didn't get harmed. And also there is quite a link between this and Beltane, which doesn't surprise me. But people got into all sorts of pranks, which again has mutated over to trick or treat in America. So the masks and the costumes, a bit like the Morris, a bit like wearing masks and face paint and that at Beltane, the people didn't get in trouble for what they did because nobody knew that it was Bob down the road, you know, wearing a sack over his head that was running around, I don't know, knocking lanterns over or whatever it was he was doing. So that makes perfect sense to me. And of course, in the Southern Hemisphere, it is Beltane. And that's kind of a half point of the year. And obviously this is also known as the Witches' New Year. But bonfires and food have always played a massive part in the festivities. The bones of slaughtered livestock were cast in a communal fire, and household fires were extinguished and started again from the bonfire to make sure that it was safe and any spirits have been driven away. Good morning, Katie Frost. Samhain blesses to you, my beauty, as well. Just talking a little bit about some of the customs of Samhain and how it came about. And of course, there was the dumb supper, which was where food was prepared by the living. Of course, it was prepared by the living. We would be prepared by the dead, would it, Claire? Honestly, that would be super spooky, wouldn't it? Be amazing, though, wasn't it? If you come in and your long dead great granny prepared your roast dinner, I'd be up for that. So the dumb supper was food prepared for the living and the dead, very much by the living, one hopes. And food for the ancestors who were in no position to eat it would then be perhaps shared out amongst the poorer families. So it's a bit of a tradition of harvest festival there as well, coming on from that. But the dumb supper is, and we had, because I'm going out today to see some family and Mark's not coming, he's doing his own thing and he's obviously going out, he's working later tonight. Well, he'll be going to the truck later tonight. We had our special meal last night, and I made, with my pumpkin, I made spicy pumpkin soup, which was very, very nice. It's quite warm this year, actually. And I made mulled apple juice, which was rather nice. So we had that, but we had a place laid up for those that have gone before, which is all, I think that's a rather lovely thing to do. So it's interesting that that's been something that's been going on since the beginning of time, really. So how did it get its name Halloween? Well, Halloween was often known as Halloween, as in evening. You know how you do like Eve and Een in Ireland, and which has evolved from All Hallows Eve, originally obviously from the more pagan ceremony of honouring the dead. And they would also carved out turnips. I don't know if you've seen these pictures online of these turnips, but they are scary. They look like skeleton or mummy heads. They are super scary. And I think the pumpkins are much better. They look much safer, but it is quite scary. And let me just see, I've got somewhere a picture of a pumpkin, what do you call it, a turnip that's carved. And they just look horrific, absolutely horrific. I can't get out of here now. I'm stuck. It's not going to happen. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll have to show you another time. But yeah, so they were carved out of them. And that is to ward off the evil spirits. And obviously was the predecessor of the lovely pumpkins that we carve today, to keep the souls of the dead away. So it would encourage the souls of your loved ones, but keep the mischievous and the evil spirits away that are nothing to do with you. So obviously that's the origins of pagan Samhain. And along would come later on the Roman Catholic Church and created on November the 1st All Saints Day, which was known as Hallowmass. So that became, they used what was there and changed it into a Christian festival, which is what cultures do. They override what's there before, blend it with their own. So it's not a Christian bashing thing. That's absolutely fine. So my printer's digging in my legs. And on the 2nd of November, they had All Souls Day, which is where you get your souls cake from. I think Emma and Katie might have seen this on Jacqueline's thread. And that's when you prayed for the souls of the dead. So we had the All Saints Day on the 1st of November, which was obviously the glorified dead. And then the second, it was the normal dead, the yous and eyes of the world. So of course we are saints, Saint Katie and Saint Emma and Roberta. You could be a saint as well. Why not? Let's all be saints. And so these were created by the church in part to downplay the pagan holidays of Hallow, evening, eventide. But of course, it just carried on. So if you want to keep witches away, why would you want to keep a witch away? I don't think anybody who's here at the moment would want to keep a witch away. Traditionally, people use horseshoes which is come down to being you put one outside your house for luck, but also it's to keep witches away. And rowan trees, apparently witches don't like rowan trees. That's what people used to have, make sure they had rowan berries or horseshoes around the houses to make sure that witches didn't come in. And I suppose if it was nice witches like us, that would be nice. But if it was evil ones, that wouldn't be so good. So leaping over the bonfires was another way to keep evil spirits away. And this is really similar to Beltane. And I find this fascinating that obviously this is going on. People are leaping over bonfires in Australia somewhere right now. But also the cattle would be important for them to jump over the fires. And it's, I mean, I won't today because it's pretty rainy here and because I'm going out later on, but people have a bonfire that doesn't go out. They'll start it now and it will still be going. The embers will still be going tomorrow morning, seeing the other thing is, it's some people see it as the end of the old year, and the 1st of November is the beginning of the new. And it's, some people see that as the start of the new year and the new turn of the wheel. So keeping the fire lit is, on Dartmoor, there's a fire that's said to have burnt for 150 years. They use slow burning peat. I don't think it's going now, but at one stage it had been going for 150 years. And I don't know if anybody's heard of the island of St Kilda out on the Hebrides. In the, it's either late, I think it's at 1930s, they finally moved off there. It was a rock of an island and it was really, really hard work living there. I saw a display about it, an exhibition about it when we were on Skye, the Isle of Skye, because that's that side of Scotland. And they reckon they had a fire going for 1,000 years. And they'd use peat and they'd always make sure that this fire was going. That kept evil spirits away. And that was going for 1,000 years till they left. Yeah, I think it was 1930s. Yeah, so that fire was going. So I just thought that was fascinating. How would you keep a fire going for 1,000 years? How would you do that? What about when it rains? I suppose peat just keeps going the whole time. But anyway, and that's to keep evil spirits away. And I suppose on a remote island like that, there's no one there to help you if things go wrong. There are only a few people there. So anyway, and tonight is a good night for divination, very popular tonight, especially for seeing the face of your future lover or husband or wife. So apples were originally used for this. So the apple bobbing, you'd catch your apple and peel it and it would show you the initial. And if you couldn't catch an apple, well, that's it, you were just stuffed. You weren't getting a future lover, which seems a bit unfair because I don't like getting my nose wet because I can't breathe, which is quite normal. Also cabbages, the shape, or you'd put a cabbage leaf under your pillow and you'd take it to the village seer, and by looking at the leaf and the shape of it and how it got squashed and which parts were bent and battered, would tell you a bit about your future, which I thought was rather fascinating. Cabbages, I think they use cabbage leaves for wrapping poultices in as well, didn't they? Somebody tell me if that's not true. Now you could also find your lover's initial by dipping egg drippings, so dripping an egg into water or candle wax into water, which I've done before. I've done candle wax divination, and I think I got a Martian, so I don't know what that was all about. And in Devon, you threw nuts into the fire. Now, before Katie and Emma fall about laughing, apologies for them, Roberta, because they're bound to. You would throw in hazelnuts or sweet chestnuts, and cabbage leaves also good when breastfeeding. Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, they call, especially if you've got mastitis, they cool your breast down, don't they? Yeah, so what you'd do is you'd get your handful of nuts. So if you supposing you've got 3 potential lovers, Bob, Sid and Reg, you'd choose one for each lover and you'd put them in the fire. And in some places it was if they popped open, some places it's if they burnt right through, would determine whether they were your lover or whether they wouldn't be the lover for you. And then, of course, you could eat them, which is rather handy. I do love roasted chestnuts or roasted hazelnuts. But I think my favourite one of divination comes from Whitby, and my friend Elizabeth's up in Whitby for the Goth Festival with our partner Steve. So if you climbed up the church steeple of your church and shouted your lover's name out towards the sea, if you could hear bells ringing from under the water, then they're true. They'll be true to you, because there was a church that had been raided and had sunk into the sea. Myth has it that it was raided by the Vikings and it went into the sea. And sometimes the bell still rings. They were trying to get, the Vikings were trying to get the bell off, but they wouldn't let them. But the god wouldn't let them get the bell. So this bell sometimes still rings under the sea, which is quite spooky, but that's very Whitby, very gothic. Keep my nuts out of this, Cluck it. Yes. Well, I know what you like, Katie. I know there's bound to be mention of nuts, isn't there? Bound to be. So that's a few little bits and bobs about Samhain. I thought most people know of all the Sabbats of the year. That's probably the one people know most about. They know most about Halloween, Samhain, whatever anybody calls it. So I've got a little ritual to do with you all, which is rather sweet, I thought. It's not completely mine. I've amended it and added to it, but I found it on a lady called Patty Riggington. She did the original version of it, and I've added to it. Now, I'm going to do that first, and I've got a poem which I'm going to read to you, which is it's sort of it's just not short, but it's I'll explain about it in a minute. So we're going to have a little ritual. So if you want to join in, you'll need 4 candles. Boom, boom, 4 candles. 4 candles, 4 candles. Have which one do you want? And this is for our ancestors. And I wanted to do one as well, which is where I found this, for the forgotten dead as well, because I think it's all about ancestors, but there's a lot of our ancestors, we have no clue who they are. We know that we're descended from them, but once you get back past sort of 200-300 years, you've got no clue. Very few people know who they're descended from in the 15th century or beyond there. So I'm going to start by opening up my little circle and calling in. So if you want to grab 4 candles, boom, boom, then you're going to have 1 for our ancestors, and then there's 3 for the other ritual for the forgotten ancestors, forgotten spirits. So I'll just start by calling in the circle. So I call to the element of earth in the north, to the roots that ground us and keep us safe, to the memories of where we have come from. I bid you hail and welcome. I call to the element of air in the east, that the voices of the past will communicate with us lovingly and safely. I bid you hail and welcome. I call to the spirits of fire in the south, and the fire and the passion and the blood that courses through our veins will reignite, and that we may feel their warmth and presence around us. I bid you hail and welcome. And I call to the element of water in the west, that the emotion that has flows through us from when time began, that we feel it and we honour it. I bid you hail and welcome. I call to the goddess of this time. I call to the Kaliak. I call to the crone goddess as she starts her journey towards winter, that she comes to us with her wisdom and her strength. I bid you hail and welcome. And I call to the ancestors of our blood and bone, those that we come from, those that watch us still. I bid you hail and welcome. And I call to the spirits of place, the spirits of this land that I live on, those that surround me, the trees and the woodland and the fields and the sky and the rocks. I bid you hail and welcome. So now is the season of Samhain. It is the season of our ancestors who have crossed over from this veil, from this world to the next. Tonight is All Hallows Eve, the night when the gateway between our world and the spirit world is at its thinnest. Tonight is a night to call out to those who came before. And today, I honour my ancestors. Spirits of my mothers and fathers, I call to you and I welcome you to join me for this day and this night. You watch over me always, protecting and guiding me, and today I thank you. Your blood runs through my veins, your spirit is in my heart, and your memories are in my soul. I call to my beloved motherline. I am Claire, daughter of Margaret, daughter of Doris, daughter of Lily, daughter of Jane, daughter of Eliza, daughter of Mary. With the gift of remembrance, I remember all of you. Doris, Lily, Jane, Eliza, and Mary, you are dead, but never forgotten. Margaret, you are very much alive and in the next village, and I will be spending some wonderful time with you today. You all live on within me, and my children, and those of their children, and so on, who are yet to come. I thank you, I honour you, and I know that I am surrounded by the blessings of you and your love. And today, alongside our ancestors, I choose to remember those who were forgotten. Today, I remember you, the unknown, the unloved, and the unwanted of our world. Whoever you may have been in life, now in death, you are ours as you watch from the other side, at least for a little while. And you may join us as long as you come safely. Now, hopefully you'll all be able to see that from there. You see me from beyond it. Women who were lost to us, how did you pass? Were you old and alone, crossing over with no one but your own ghosts to keep you company? Were you young and healthy and taken from us unexpectedly? Your crossing a surprise to you as much as to anyone else. Does your body lie cold and waiting in an office somewhere, waiting to be claimed? Or tonight will you lie under the stars in a field or forest, never to be seen? Forgotten women, your spirits are with us today, watching us from outside the circle. We remember you and want you to know that you are honoured, you are remembered. Men who were lost to us, how did you pass? Did you die in a strange place, far from your family and friends, lost to everyone but your own thoughts? Were you in the prime of your life, or were you creeping along, fighting the ravages of old age, watching as disease and neglect took their toll on you? Are you buried in an unmarked plot in a distant field, far from home? Or will you lie under the stars on this glorious night? Forgotten men, your spirits are with us tonight, watching from outside the circle. We remember you and want you to know that you are remembered and you are honoured. Sweet children, crossed over from this world to the next. Your lives were far too short for whatever reason, and you left us before you grew. On the other side, perhaps there is a mother to hold you when you need to feel loved, a father to comfort you when you are afraid, a big brother or sister to guide you on your journey. Wherever you may lie, and whether you were big or very, very small, your spirits are with us today, watching us from outside the circle. We remember you and want you to know that you are honoured and that you are remembered. All of you, women, men and children, you may have crossed over unnoticed when you left this world, but for now, you are remembered. You are not forgotten. You are remembered by us on this day at Samhain, All Hallows Eve. Know that this day and night, you are with us in memory and spirit. Know that you are no longer lost and unreachable. Know that you are loved. Beloved spirits and guests from beyond the veil, we have remembered and honoured you. We have celebrated you, although we have not known you in life or even your names. But after tonight, it will be time to move on and for you to go back to the place where you belong as one of our beloved dead. So go tonight, knowing that this Samhain you were honoured and you were remembered. Go back across the veil and remain there in that world, safe in the knowledge that you have been thought of. You will not be forgotten again, and we will honour you with our memories. Farewell, rest easy, and may the coming parts of your journey be worthy of you. I call to the spirits of place, the spirits that surround me and my home. I bid you hail and farewell. I call to the ancestors, those of my blood and bone, those whose memories course through my veins. I bid you hail and farewell. I call to the goddess, to the Kaliak and the crone, she who brings the wisdom and the stillness. I bid you hail and farewell. I call to the spirits of the west, of water, that the emotion has flowed today through our ceremony. For those that have been forgotten, I thank you for sharing that with me and bringing it to us. I bid you hail and farewell. I call to the element of fire in the south, for the flames that burn, for the loved ones and those that have been forgotten. I thank you for joining us today. I bid you hail and farewell. I call to the element of air in the east, for the voices that whispered in the wind and came to us. I bid you hail and farewell. And I call to the elements of air in the north, the element of earth in the north, not air, earth in the north, that keep me rooted and keep us grounded so that we can do this small thing. I thank you for being with us, and I bid you hail and farewell. Blessed be. Well, that's a little ceremony for today, and I thought, when I found that, I hadn't thought about doing something for the ancestors, and I thought that was really powerful, and actually it gave me goosebumps reading it. It made me really quite teary thinking about the people that have gone before and you know have no one to remember them, not the people that have gone now with time, but people that were lost, people that nobody cared about. And I don't know if any of you have been to Crossbones. I know Emma and Katie will definitely have heard Jacqueline talk about it. And was that you, Neen? You'll have heard. Hello, darling. You'll have heard about. I know Neen's heard about Crossbones because we've spoken about it. But that's obviously the graveyard for the paupers and the unloved and unwanted children and prostitutes up near Borough Market in Southwark. So that, and I just thought there's people there that were just chucked in there and not loved, and that makes me sad. But not to be sad, because they are loved and they are remembered, and even if we don't know their names, I think just acknowledging that these people exist, and it's not always like a candle for Granny. I think we've taken a step towards marking those people. Blessed be, Roberta. So I've got a poem for you. This is one I've written. I do wobble on a bit, and I have to get into a bit of character here. So just if you've just tuned in and you find me talking in a funny accent in a minute, don't worry. Janine, you'll have to put up with this because you've heard this before. So I'm going to leave these candles burning for a bit because it kind of suits what I'm doing. I'm just going to bring my ancestors over here. I'm going to turn the lights down a little, I think, because I think it's a little bit fitting, and I've got my lovely candles. Let's make some dark. There we go. Oops, I'm just wrecking the joint. Okay, so just to give you some context for this, very near to me are some standing stones called Kitscotty, and Janine, lovely Janine, was with me yesterday, and some of Mason Pagans, and we went up there and we had a little ritual up there, didn't we, Neen? And she probably won't talk, she's quite shy, ain't you, honey? I think there's 10 of us up there yesterday, and 2 dogs who really enjoyed it as well. And there's the 2 stones like this and one on top, and there's a stone in the middle. And it was the entrance to a long barrow, and it's above the village where my family have come from for many years. And I just always feel that my family are from there. That, if you could go back in time, you'd find my lot lurking there. And I know that they went up there. The family went up there, but I'm pretty sure even the Neolithic lot were there, So this poem I wrote for summer solstice, because we camp very near there. But it can be for any part of the year, but it's to do with the stones. So if you wonder what I'm talking about, it's the stones and the guardian of the stones, and it's called Edda. So the premise of this is that Edda is wandering around having a look at the people who've been to the stones, i.e. the people at the solstice, but it also stands on its own. So I'll shut up and read it to you. Oh, sees me, does ya? Because I sees you. Oh, yeah, you, young one over there, yeah, I sees you. And you, older one over there, I sees you. Not everyone that sees me hears me too, does ya? Well, well, this is a treat now. What about you? Oh, you sees me too. Well, let me tell you who I am. My name is Edda, named for my grandmother, Edda. In fact, Edda mean grandmother. Anyway, that by the by. My name is Edda, and I am the guardian of the stones. Those stones down yonder. I sees you there earlier, with your beads and your bones and your teeth and your feathers. Fitting that you does that. 'Tis a place for them fineries. 'Tis where the spirits of our ancestors sleep. And I, Edda, I watches over them. Oh, wait. Oh, no, 'tis all right. 'Tis one of yours. Thought one of mine had got out then. But it's fine. Anyway, hundreds of years ago, before you was born, Oh, maybe not you, maybe. Millennia, they calls it. I lived here on this land. And this is my story. This is my song. 'Twas the night before Yulemas. Oh, no, Edder. Wrong ruddy Sabbath, wrong Sabbath, Samhain. Gotcha. This is Edda's song. When the world was still young and the wild beasts roamed the land, we followed the trackways, hunting them spear in hand. Woolly mammoths and bison, wolf, elk and bear, saber-toothed tigers in their dark forest lairs. We journeyed each springtime. We followed the herds, tracking the paw prints and graze marks. We migrated like birds. We came from the cold, frozen lands of the north, where the ice giants lived and the volcanoes burst forth. We came from the south, from the hot lands of Spain, from the arid and dry, from the land parched of rain. We came from the east, from the forests of Gaul. We moved with the seasons, and we followed them all. We journeyed back west on the long journey home, but the white cliffs of Dogger had collapsed with a groan. Our familiar old paths had fallen into the sea, wild raging waters where the tracks used to be. Trapped high on a hilltop, we began to cry and berate. What cause had we given our gods for this fate? But a new life was started. We lived on these lands. We bred boar and cattle, and we settled in bands. We learned about grains and how the rain made things grow. We prayed for the sun and we dreaded the snow. New life was started. Our families grew. New roots were planted and we made it through. But our customs stayed with us. And when someone died, we couldn't just bury them and cast them aside. So we manoeuvred huge stones that the great glaciers left, and then vast dark barrows deep into the hillsides we cleft. Our loved ones we buried in a sweet womb-like nest. Their spirits and bodies, we laid them to rest. The chalk barrows glinted, and for miles you could see our white sacred markers and our territories. With prayers to the ancestors of our own blood and bone, we dressed them and blessed them. We journeyed them home. We asked them to help us. We thanked them with praise, energized their old bones outside on bright sunny days. And as I grew older, the task became mine to follow my elders of my own sacred line. My duty it was to keep clean the bones, to sage them and ash them, and I did this alone. I called them and named them and sang each old song through seasons and Sabbaths, through nights short and long. Long nights on that hilltop where the wind howled so wild. I sat there and guarded, ensured no loved one was defiled. Nights with no moonlight, I sat alone in the dark, keeping the fire and tending the spark. Priestess and wise woman, sacred guardian of the stones, from moon-ripened maiden a wild white-haired crone. I've sat here forever, and I sit here still, reverently guarding the tomb on the hill. So if you are up here and the wind starts to moan, and you think for a minute that you're not alone, and if the hair rises on the back of your neck and the fear starts to grow that you can't keep in check, or if you think you saw movement at the side of your eye, or you know for a fact, oh, you just heard a sigh, then you are definitely right, for I have not gone, and I sit here patiently alone with my songs. But if you are respectful and tread here with love, you have nothing to fear from those you're above. It's only old Edda, a walk in the land, guarding the spot where the megaliths stand. It's only old Edda, keeping the spark. It's only old Edda, alone in the dark. So there you go. I'm going to set my hair on fire then, that wouldn't do, would it? So that's my little poem. I'm going to have a sip of tea because that's so that's me for today. I'm back next week. I will have a guest. I can't remember who it is because I might not even have. Oh, the trucker is here, my husband. Hello, trucker. Oh, excellent. Thank you, Don. I didn't realise she was watching downstairs. So have a blessed Samhain. I'm going to blow these ones out now for the dead that aren't mine. But I'm going to keep this one going for, oh, thank you, Roberta. I'm going to keep this one going for my family and for my husband's family. I'm going to keep that one going for a little bit longer. And, oh, hello, Lynn. And I'll see you all. It's really spooky now. I'll see you all next week with, I guess, have a good week. And who knows what the topic is. I have no idea what I've arranged, what I've organised, what I've scheduled. It'll be a surprise for me as it is to you. So take care, everyone, and I will see you soon. Blessed be.